Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Cotton Candy Bnha. I'm back with another video for you. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. So guys, I'm actually pretty angry at myself. I'm so mad. I'm so mad, guys. Oh my gosh. I'm so I'm gonna Toshinori's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. I'm like, okay. So in the last video oh my gosh, no. All right. So in my last video, I was saying how I wish I could shift to Toshinori's house and it could just not be whatever time. Like it could not be later. I'm sorry guys, my mind is bubbled and jumbled up right now because I'm so oh my gosh, I'm so angry. But at the same time, I'm oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened, guys. I cannot believe this happened to me. I am just like an idiot or something. Toshinori is. Toshinori's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be so pissed off. But I don't have a choice. I mean, I have to face him now because I promised I would. No, I'm not gonna be like a coward. I'm not gonna be a coward. Like I'm not. Like some kind of Anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. I'm not. I feel like I'm being poked. Am I being poked? Okay. I swear I'm not crazy, guys. I swear. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you what happened, alright? So stop freaking out for 2 seconds so I can tell you. Alright, so someone wrote in the comments, your name starts with a Q. I don't really know how to pronounce your name, but she commented and said that I should try and script so that I come back to Toshinori's house, so that it seems like in that reality I'm coming back the next day, but I'm really waiting a few days before coming back there. That way I allow myself to heal a little bit more every time I'm with him because I'm pretty sore afterwards. I feel like I'm getting used to him more and more, but because I have this issue that I told you guys I won't talk about unless it's like a live chat. So that way all of the whatever I tell you deletes or disappears. Um that's part of the reason why I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. And there's nothing wrong with me, but this I would have liked to know this information sooner instead of finding out from my mom this year. So I mean I'm not blaming her for it, but at the same time I felt like she should have just maybe it just slipped her mind. I mean, I can. Anyway, so enough about that. Let's jump into the shifting. So I scripted that it would be day, and so I got ready to choose clothes to go to his house in, and I decided not to go in a pretty dress or pretty gown because Toshinori always rips it off my body in a passionate rage before he pounces on me. So I decide I'm gonna come there dressed like a kind of like a lumberjack in a way, but like a female lumberjack. So I get out my black corduroys and oh my god, you guys might hear insanely happy laughter. I can already hear. Anyway, just ignore it. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted, guys. Anyway, so I decide to dress like a lumberjack. So I go in my closet. I get out my red and black checkered button-up shirt and I get some black corduroys. I put those on and I put on my black rain boots. And I tuck my pants in my boots. That way I make it a little bit stylish. I tuck in my shirt and I put on the sparkle belt. And I put a hat on my head. I throw a piece of jewelry around my neck, just something little. And of course I put in earrings and I wear this bracelet. So I decided to kind of go there. I wanted to kind of look like a hobo, kind of, but like a fashionable hobo. If that's even possible. Can you be a hobo with fashion? I mean, I guess it's kind of like a hobo-y look, right? but I still wanted to look nice. Like I didn't want to look like complete garbage going to go see Toshinori because he might be like, "Damn girl, what's wrong with you?" Anyway, so I shipped to his house, and so far so good. It's during the daytime. I didn't want to go in the evening. I wanted to go in the daytime so that we can like talk or whatever. Plus, I wanted to sit down with him before, if he did have to go to work or anything. But Toshinori hasn't been able to work for a while. He's not really Toshinori's not really like a teacher at the school or something. I don't know what he is. I mean, I don't think he's teaching any classes or anything, right? So like he hasn't been coming to the school. I think he's on like break or something, right? I mean, teachers go on that kind of break. The school I went to we didn't go on any special breaks or anything like that. I mean, once upon a time. Anyway, so I shipped to his house. Everything's so far so good. I walk up to his door and I open it and I just walk in because at this point we're beyond like knocks, like knocking on each other's door. So like what he's never actually been to my house. I would love for him to come to my house. But I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Because he's gonna kill me. Anyway, so I walk in and he's sitting down at the table and he already has breakfast ready for me. And he goes, I knew you would come. And I go, hi, and I walk up to him and I like kiss him and he like kisses me back. This long, passionate kiss. And I sit down across from him and he's like, I already made breakfast for you. Everything's already made. I already did coffee, everything. So you can just sit back and enjoy. And I didn't notice before, but he was completely dressed. He had on like dress shirt, tie, shoes, everything. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just looking at him. I'm like, he looks good. All dressed up. He looks nice. So I get ready to eat, and he goes, Cotton Candy, can I just ask you something, please? And I go, what is it? And I'm still eating. And he's like, why do you choose to come here so late? And I'm like, it's not late, it's early. He goes, you know what I mean. And I go, I mean, like, and he's like, do you know how long it's been since you've been here? And I'm like a day? He's like, no, it hasn't been a day, it's been a week. And you keep doing this. So now I'm starting to think that, I don't know what your motive is. Like, and then you come during the daytime. He goes, but I knew you were coming because I felt you coming. So I go, you felt me coming? And he's like, stop it. And I'm like, I'm playing with him and I'm like, okay. I'm like, how did you feel me coming? And he's like, I just know you're going to be here and then you're here. He says, so he got everything ready. And I thought that's kind of weird. Like if I choose to shift to you, like in the middle of the night, are you going to know I'm coming then? I mean, so I think now like, I guess we're like connected. We're connected and we're entwined in a way that we know he knows my presence. He knows when I'm going to be there. That means no more sneaking up on him. No more hiding under his bed or anything like that. Or that wasn't my fault. That was his fault. He shifted me under his bed. I've been under his bed before, but I mean, that was like earlier. That was like when I first started talking to him. I mean, that was before like talking to him. That was when I first started stalking him. Like before I even shared it with you guys. Anyway, so I go, okay, well, I came and he's like, what are you trying to do? Like, what is your I know you have like a motive behind this. And I was trying to he's like, you were trying to what? And I'm like, I'm trying to think of a lie. I really don't want to tell him that I'm trying to make it seem like I'm only coming to you the next day because it sounds so like bad. So then he's like, you know what, Cotton Candy, never mind. I don't want to hear what you have to say to me because I don't want to hear any lies that you make up. I'm just done with this. He gets up and he like throws the dishes in the sink. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking they probably freaking broke as hard as you threw them down. Then he comes and he sits back down and he's watching me eat. So I'm eating. He's watching me take a bite of the eggs and stuff. By the way, it smells divine. Coffee tastes perfect. He's like, just watching me like eat. He's like, And, I'm just biting out of everything, just, and then I look up at him, I'm like, what? And he goes, nothing. And I'm like, okay. And I keep eating. And then he goes, no, I do have something to say. And I was like, okay, what? I was like, I'm listening. I'll listen. He's like, I waited for you all this time. You said he would be right back and you didn't come here. That just makes me think that you don't care. Like, you don't care about my feelings. You don't care about, if I get hurt or not. And also, I was waiting for you all this time and you waited. Why did you wait so late for me to get, why did you wait so late to come here? And now now I'm kind of feeling bad. Now I'm feeling like, okay, and so like I'm a jerk because I made him wait all this time. And anyway, so I'm like, so I look up at him and I don't know what to say except sorry. So I'm like, sorry, Yoshinori, I'm sorry. And he's like, the reason I wanted you to come here is because this week I start back working at the school full time. And I go, well, you still have, he's like, I only have the morning and then I'll be here later, like 7. And then he's like, when I get off of work, we can spend time together. But then because I have to get up early for work. So, I mean, we'll get like a couple of hours, but you won't really be able to stay the night anymore unless I want to be, worn out the next day. And he's like, I always bite off more than I could chew with you. And guys, I'll tell you what that means in a minute. So anyway, he leans over, he kisses me again, and I kiss him back. So then I'm like, okay, well, he's going to be starting, full time. He shared this information with me. That's great. So I want to like kind of find out a little bit of information about this because I want to know like what he's doing because I want to be a part of his life. So I asked him, I go, so what are you doing today? He goes, well, I'll mostly be doing office work, but today I have to sub for Mr. Aizawa's class. And I go, for like his whole class. He goes, no, the class went on a field trip and some of the students were left behind because they didn't pass some kind of course or some kind of exam. So he said as a reward, the other children got to go, but some of them are going to stay there. And I go, is that even allowed? And he's like, I mean, I guess it's school. So then I go, who's, actually, I stop right there and I go, how come you get stuck with Mr. Aizawa's class all the time? And he's like, well, I decided to come in early this week just because I was volunteering. I'm like, oh, so um, you're taking away from our time to go up there. And he's like, I'm doing a favor for a friend. You shouldn't be that upset. And anyway, if you had to just listen to me, we could have talked about this sooner before it happened. And I'm like, okay. So then I go, you know what? Mr. Aizawa is only taking, I don't know who he's taking with him, but I'm telling you guys, I'm just like, I would not go. If all my kids aren't going, I'm not gonna go. And he's like, that was a part of his rule though, that the other kids were gonna go on the trip. And I'm like, I don't care. Because guys, guess what? Once upon a time, before COVID started, before I lost my job, I was a teacher, and my class was the three threes and fours slash 5 year olds. When I say slash five, I mean those kids were almost about to turn 5. So when we went on a field trip and all of my class couldn't go, I wouldn't go. Let me tell you why. Number one, there was like 4 teachers that went with me. There's always like 4 teachers because when you have the kids that small, you need more eyes to watch them. So we didn't want anyone to disappear. Number two, my curriculum, my lesson plan goes out the window when there's 4 teachers because they're not going to follow what I want and I'm not going to get done with what I want. And the third reason is that it's a field trip, which means my kids have to leave my classroom. And 90% of the time, there's always going to be 2 or 3 kids left behind because the parents don't want to sign like the permission slip. They can't afford to pay for whatever the place is they're going to. And or the kids just doesn't deserve to because they're just not behaving themselves. But at the same time, I don't feel like any kid should not deserve something. I know I'm getting away from the shifting story, but I just need to tell you this real quick because I feel like it's wrong. It's wrong for you to do this on purpose to some kids. And I don't care if the fact that I don't care if they're older kids. They're still kids. The key word there is kids. They still need supervision. They still need to be looked after. They still need guidance. They're still a child. Anyway, for me, an opportunity like this for me is perfect because now I get a chance to get to know the children that are left behind. I get to see where they're doing it with their work. We can like I can help them with stuff they might need help with, like learning how to do like phonics stuff. I might be able to play a fun game to help them get through that. It just gives me more time to get to know the children. And there's always that one kid that's, I can't go on it. I can't go, or whatever. And they're upset, and I tell them, I go, hey, you know what? Don't be upset because we're gonna bake cookies, and we're gonna. And I'm like, but don't tell your friends what we're gonna do, okay? And then you leave, and then you come back, and everyone's like, you guys are gonna make cookies, and I'm like, so never tell like a 4/5 year old what you're planning because they're just gonna like blow your plan up to everybody. Anyway, let's go back to the shifting. So I say, I don't think that's right what Mr. Aizawa was doing. He goes, I don't care about what you think because it has nothing to do with you. And I so I'm eating and I'm like, okay. So like I eat like slower. I'm trying to contain like what I'm feeling because it sort of struck me in a place remembering, my remembering my class and when I was in charge of them, and just doing something like this on purpose feels like torture to me. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention this video is going to be kind of long. Sorry, not sorry. Can you tell I'm a little bit angry? Yeah, I kind of am. I'm going to maintain my smile just for you guys because I love you guys. Anyway, so my next question is, who's going to be in your class with you? Like, who are the children? And he looks at me, he goes, I'm not telling you, Cotton Candy Doll. And I say, why? And he's like, because I said I didn't want to share that part of my life with you yet. And you proved that you weren't ready last time. So now I'm like kind of like mad. I'm just like, okay, you know what? And he goes, what? I'm like, nothing. So then he leans over the table again and he tries to touch me, and I sort of like flinched, like I moved away. And he goes, Cotton Candy Doll, no, you're not allowed to do that. And I'm like, why do you keep doing this? And he's like, doing what? He goes, we had a deal. He goes, I only have a few hours left, so, we can spend some alone time together. And he goes in to kiss me, and I turn my head because I don't want to kiss you right now because you're being like an a-hole toward me. And I knew I was an a-hole toward you first, but that doesn't give you any right. So he goes, okay. He goes, you're not allowed to do this. Like, you can't do this. And I'm like, he goes, just tell me what's wrong then. There has to be a reason then. Because you can't just tell me you don't want to. Like, that's not an excuse. And I go, so guys, I'm like, you know what, fine. So I go, I'm on my period, okay? I'm on my period right now. It's not. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. It must be a hard week for you. Here, let me get you some tea. And he takes my coffee, and I'm like, I'm not done with that. He goes, no sweets. No sweets for you. It's gonna make it worse. He's like, it's gonna give you more pain in your abdominal area. And then he's like, so then he like empties it out and he goes, here, come sit over to the couch. He like helps me out of my chair and walks me over to the couch. And then he sits me down and he goes, you like green tea, right? And I go, and I just look at him and he's like, yeah. And he walks away and I'm like, green tea is not my favorite at all. I don't really like it. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. So then he comes back and he gives me the tea and he like guides it up to my mouth. He's like, take a sip. I'm like, it's too high for me to drink right now. So he's like, okay, he puts it down. like there's like this little table next to the couch. So I'm sitting there and he's like, um, is your stomach okay? Does your tummy feel okay? And I go, oh no. And he's like, what? I go, my stomach. He's like, okay, well, put your feet up. And he like elevates my feet. He like puts my feet on the couch. But I'm turned weird. I'm turned sideways because the TV is like, my body is like this way. The TV is like there. So like, I'm kind of like letting my leg hang down in my arm. I don't know. I can't get you guys visual. Anyway, he goes into he disappears into his room and he comes back out with this blanket, puts the blanket over me, and I hug the blanket because it smells like him. It's his fur blanket, the one that I've been secretly sleeping on all those years. All those years, that year when I stalked him. I did stalk him for just a year. That's it. I didn't interact with him before that. So anyway, so I have the blanket wrapped around me, and he turns on the TV, and so like it's like the news came on, but it was weird. It was like they were trying to teach you how to speak or something. Everyone's reactions were just off because this is a whole different reality. So, and I wasn't expecting that there. So he goes, well, if you want, you can wait for me here, or whenever you feel better, you can like leave if you want to. I'm not gonna force you to stay here during this time. And he's like, you want me to run you like some bath water? You can take like a warm bath while I'm gone. You'll feel better. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm fine. He goes, okay, don't eat anything cold. Only like warm stuff. Like only have this tea. And I'm like, you got any ice cream? And he's like, no ice cream. You can't have ice cream. It's gonna make you worse. And I go, okay. And he's like, okay, I'll be back then. And I go, okay. And he says bye, and he gives me a kiss, and he leaves. He like closes the door and stuff. And as soon as he leaves, the first thing I do is I'm like, okay, I need to look into Toshinori's room, and I need to see if I can find my undergarments because I haven't been able to find them. Oh, and guys, don't judge me. I didn't wear any undergarments underneath my clothes because they always, I mean, hello, they go missing, and it's really expensive. Like my stuff's not cheap, and because it's really cute. Anyway, so I go in his room. I'm looking around. I'm like rummaging through his drawers. I look under his bed. I cannot find any of my stuff. So I go, okay, so he threw it away, obviously. I mean, because where else could it have gone? It has to be like in the trash. Next, I go in the kitchen and I go, you know what? He has a whole tub of ice cream in here. And I open up the Neapolitan ice cream. I scoop out the vanilla and chocolate. I don't take any of the strawberry because I noticed there's a lot of scoops in that one that it looks like it's been dug in pretty well. And so I think his favorite ice cream is strawberry. So I didn't really touch it even though I wanted to so bad. So like now I have this big bowl. I'm sitting in front of the couch. And it took me quite a while to go into his room and lounge do his things. Because when I came back, some time had gone by, like almost an hour. So I'm sitting there, just got my ice cream, and the doorknob starts twisting. And I'm like, oh no. So I grab the bowl, I like slide it under the couch. Luckily the couch is like tall enough. By the way, guys, did I tell you this was gonna be a long video? Yeah. Anyway, I put it underneath the couch and I pretend to be asleep. I'm like, so Toshinori walks in and he like touches my face. So like I blink my eyes open slowly, like I'm like, oh, hello. And he's like, hey, he's like, did you sleep good? And I go, yeah. He says, are you still tired? And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. And he goes, okay, if you want, you can go back to sleep. I just wanted to come and check on you. And I go, yeah, thanks for checking on me. I'm so tired. I'm just gonna go back to sleep because the ice cream is under me and I don't want all of it to melt before I get a chance to eat it. Unlike other people, they like to have their ice cream melted. I like my ice cream to actually be ice cream when I eat it. So he leaves out and I finish off the ice cream. But then like I decide, you know what? I think I want to go and take a look at what Toshinori is doing at the school. I just want a little peek into his life. I want to see how he is around these children. I want to see like how he does. I want to see his attitude, his behavior. It sounded like it thought I thought about it and I'm like, this is a great idea. I'm definitely gonna do this. And actually the ice cream was so I had so much in there I didn't get to finish all of it. So I basically just took the bowl and I like emptied the rest of the remains in there in the sink. And I put the spoon and the bowl into the dishwasher. It's a tiny dishwasher too. It's so small, brown and tiny. Anyway, I put on my rain boots, and go outside. And like he said, like I guess Bnha is so trippy because the school is literally right there, like literally right there. Like you can walk, and then 10 feet it was there. So I start walking to the school, and I'm looking around, and I don't see like I don't know like where to really go because I'm kind of it's like a hallway and there's doors, but all of the doors are closed. I'm actually kind of happy because like I didn't actually belong there, and I didn't want anyone to see me. But I remembered class 1A was Mr. Aizawa's class. So I know that, I'm probably already where I'm supposed to be. So I kind of wander around, then I hear his voice. I hear him saying, okay, class, da 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 da, da," and I can't hear what he's saying. So I approach the class slowly and I see like, I'm like, it's class 1A. And so next to the door, so there's like a door. This is the door you walk in. Okay, it's closed. And next to it is a desk. And the desk doesn't have a chair or anything, it's just pushed up against the wall. And so like I climb underneath the desk in an attempt to try to like shield or hide myself so I can like listen in. And it's too bad that I can't see inside of the classroom. I really wanted to get a glance at Toshinori. So I'm all on all fours. I'm like on the floor and the door opens and I see a set of legs just run past me. I can't tell whose legs they are because I don't really look. I kind of shut my eyes because I'm hoping they didn't see me. So then the door is like slowly like opening. So I peek around the corner. First off, okay, the first person I see is Kiroshima. Kiroshima is way in the back, okay. To the right of him, Koda, he's staring out the window at a squirrel. And then in front of him, like toward the front, is Ochako. Ochako is just staring straight ahead. So like I look over at Bakugo, because Bakugo's there. Bakugo just looks irritated. He like has his face on his like he's like this. And I thought I heard Midoriya, but I guess I imagined I heard him. Anyway, so I'm looking in the room and I'm like, and I go, oh no, I'm just thinking to myself, like, his class looks so depressing and so boring. And he's talking and he's just writing something on the board. I'm not even paying attention to him. I'm just looking at how miserable the kids look. And it's like, just because they couldn't go on the field trip with you doesn't mean that you guys have to stay in the classroom. You can take them outside. If there's a playground in the back of the school, take them to the playground outside. But make sure you keep an eye on them because even though they're older kids, they still have to be watched. Um, I would have, if I was their teacher, I would have been moved. Those desks would have been moved to the back of the classroom, and we would have all been in the middle of the class playing some kind of game. I probably would have had Bakugo because he has all this energy he needs to use. He has all this energy stored up that his energy needs to be used. That's why he explodes. That's why he has those tantrums like that. I would have sent him down to the gym to get a ball. We would have played the game. And if they said we had to play something educational, I would have found some way to throw that in there. I would have asked, what's the curriculum? We would have threw that in there with our little game where we just toss a ball around to each other. And then like if they're not motivated, I will offer prizes. If the first 3 people, and what you do is you offer more than one person. You don't want just one person to get something because then everyone's like, oh, there's probably not a chance I'll win. But if you offer three people, and there's 5 kids, then they're going to become motivated. And even the kids, even if they don't get the same thing as, say, like 2 kids, the two losers, the 2 kids, 2 losers. Nope, nobody's. I love all kids. They're not losers. Okay, so the 2 kids who lost, they would still get something. But the 3 kids who won would get just a bigger, something better. But everybody would get something. Okay. That's how I would motivate them to play this game or whatever. Or he could take them outside, or he could build it like an obstacle course outside. He could build one in a class. Like there's so many tools you can use at your disposal. So I'm just looking at them. I'm like, man, it sucks. So like I'm like, well, I guess I saw everything I needed to see. So I start like backing out from under the desk, and I see legs, and they stop right there. So I'm like, shoot. So like I stay really still, and I hear, "You're back. I knew you'd come back. I was telling everyone else about you, and I guess you're a teacher here now, right? It's good to see you again." And I'm like, "It's Midoriya. It's Midoriya," and he's talking so damn loud that they're gonna hear me. Remember, the door is open now, guys. So then, um, I hear Toshinori go, "But young Midoriya, what are you doing?" He goes, "Nothing." And I go, "Shh." And he walks into the room, and I hear him say, "Who are you talking to?" And I hear Midoriya trying to lie to him about, well, "Oh, I'm not talking to anyone. I was just out there." So like I come from underneath the desk, like what the heck? I'm gonna, bail so he doesn't see me. So I start running, down the hallway, and I hear him getting closer because the hallway it's like a Freddy Krueger hallway or something. It's so freaking long. I get to like the end, and I turn the corner, and I just go into whatever room is available, and I turn around, and I'm in Principal Nezu's office. He looks up from his desk, and he goes, "Hey, Cotton Candy Doll, right?" He was like, I was hoping I'd get to see you again. I just didn't think I would ever have a chance." He goes, "So you must be the new substitute teacher that Mr. Aizawa hired." And I go, "No, not really." He goes, "Come sit down." And I go, "See, the thing is," and he's like, "We can talk in a second. Just sit down for a minute. I'm pretty busy here. I got a lot of work to do." And he's like he's like shuffling through paperwork, and I'm like trying to like, look at see what he's doing. And he goes, "So Mr. Aizawa said that the substitute teacher could not get here in time to teach the classroom. So right now Toshinori is taking over his class." And I go, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "He said he was going to hire someone because his class was going to be taking more trips, and some of the other students wouldn't be able to go. So I guess you're going to be the new teacher that's going to be working here." He goes, I mean, I know it's not going to be every day, but the days that you do come in, I'll really appreciate it." And I go, so Principal Nezu, the thing is, I'm not really, I go, "I'm not really a teacher. I'm not really a teacher at the school. Not really." He goes, he goes, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not really a, I'm not really a teacher." And he's like, "Well," he goes, "You have such a funny personality. You're quite the jokester." He goes, "Of course you're a teacher here. I mean, that would mean that you basically broke into school property, and you would have to be picked up by the authorities. And if they picked you up, then obviously you're a villain. So, I mean, why else would you have been here? I mean, what were you doing all that time?" And he's like, "You're so funny. You're such a jokester." He goes, "I like that personality. Keep that attitude. The kids are gonna need it because, man, things could really liven up around here." And he starts laughing. This guy's legit laughing. So I'm like, no. So I'm like, "You know what? I gotta go." And he's like, "We need to talk a little bit more. I wanted to give you a tour of the school and take you possibly by class 1A so you can see what type of students you'll be dealing with because as you know, this is a hero school." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And he goes, "We could really use someone with your quirk. It'd be great if you took some of the students, you were able to teach them and practice or train with them." And I go, let's talk about this tomorrow. Why don't I just come back tomorrow and then we can discuss it more?" And I get up and I'm like, I'm practically running out of his office. And he goes, "Cotton Candy died." And I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "I expect to see you in my office tomorrow. Okay." And I go, "Yeah, you will see me tomorrow for sure." And I go out and I close the door and I'm running. Okay, the door is right here. I'm making a beeline for the door. Out of nowhere, I run into Hawks. I like bump into this dude. I wish I could say he didn't actually see me or looked at me, but he did. He goes, ah, cotton candy da. Hey, where you going? I go, bye. And I just keep running. When I get outside, I'm so tired. I'm out of breath. I'm like, so finally I go back to Toshinori's house and I go in and I sit down on the couch and I'm just sitting there for a minute. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, what did I just do? I'm like, he's gonna kill me. So then Toshinori comes in like, because it's been like, he was only gonna be gone for like 10 minutes after I got back for some reason. I get back so late. And he's like, he walks in and he's like, um, I'm sorry you had to wait for me all this time. He goes, and I thought about what you said too. And I go, you did? He thought about what I said? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay. He's like, let's sit down together for a minute. Let's cuddle together. So like he gets behind me, he's like spooning me, and then he starts like touching me and touching like my butt and stuff. And he goes, so what are you wearing? And I go, I'm wearing a pad. He goes, it does feel like you're wearing one. I was like, first off, don't feel there. Okay, that's gross. He goes, yeah, right, because you're bleeding. I'm like, yeah. I said, it's basically, he goes, it's a pad, but I don't feel it. He's like, I didn't feel a pad. And I'm like, that's because it's a pad tampon. It's both. It's a 2-in-1. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Hey, I mean, guys are idiots in this area. They don't know anything about periods, and they're not supposed to because they're guys. How would they know? No offense against you if you're a guy. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, so, um, and I want to tell him so bad, but I just can't bring myself to do it, guys. He's like, were you okay here all alone by yourself? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'll be right back. He goes into his bedroom, and then I remember the ice cream the rest of the ice cream that I left in the sink, and I'm like, oh shoot. So I get up and I'm rinsing out the sink. He goes, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, just making some more tea. And I grab my undrunken tea because I didn't finish it and I emptied it out. And I had to put the bag in the trash. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just making more tea. That's all. He goes, oh, good. He goes, I'll do it. And he takes the cup out of my hand and you know, he like boils the water and gets ready to make my tea and stuff. And I'm just like, so then after after he gave me my tea and stuff, I was like, he's like, I gotta work early tomorrow, so I'm just gonna say goodbye now. And I basically shifted out of there and I came back here. But the whole time I was just thinking, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I have to tell Toshinori what the heck happened. So you guys probably hear noises in the background. I'm so I'm so annoyed right now. I'm so mad at myself. Like, why did I do this? Why am I like this? Like, there has to be an answer. Like, I don't know what to do. I hope my camera's not blurry either. So now I gotta confess to him about what I did. I mean, I told him I would come right back too. So I'm supposed to go tomorrow. What if he finds out from Midoriya? Because Midoriya has a big mouth. But Midoriya didn't tell him. Midoriya's pretty loud. He was like talking so loud. Oh, I'm so glad I saw you again. Ugh. And then Hawks, Kangeda, saying my name all loud and stuff. So it's like, I feel like Hawks might accidentally tell him, or Hawks might just tell him because he told him about the carnival situation with the thing flying toward me. I mean, he didn't need to tell that detail, but he did. But I guess because he's a hero, he wanted to report saving a hero. I don't know. Then there's the question of my quirk. It's like, what the heck? So, I mean, I don't know. This whole thing is just like messed up, guys. I don't know what to do. Anyway, oh, guys, so screwed up. I'm screwed up so bad. What am I gonna do? Anyway, when I go back to Toshinori's house, I'm just gonna confess. I'm just gonna tell him what I did. I'm gonna hope he doesn't kill me. I almost cried when Principal Nazu was like laughing, and I almost cried, like seriously, because like what the heck, like Things could have gotten any worse for me. Like, this is what I get though for not listening and trying to do what I want. So, anyway, yeah, this is a happy video, but it's also a sad video. Like, I'm glad I got to see the kids again, but those kids were so miserable, guys. When I say they were miserable, like, they were not happy kids. He did not have to leave them in the classroom the whole time, like. But I didn't stay either to see like if he took them outside. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified of other videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.